we're back live. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
I got a lovely message from Hasni. Hasni, yes, we are all here. Don't worry, nothing's wrong.
She came in so early, 5 minutes earlier. Wow, Hasni.
Must
Then
be
we
excited,
you saying
Hasni, for
hi.
the So,
We have,
welcome back, everyone, to another episode of HR Intervention. I'm your host, 𝗘𝗺𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, and joining me in the studio today is, of course, our ever enthusiastic Ajit Singh.
hi, my name is Ajit. I am absolutely thrilled to be here. Hope you guys are all doing well and having a fantastic day today. So we have a few of them saying hi to us. Wani said hi. Ayu said hi. And so we're going to
Yeah.
have fun. Shireen, let's carry on.
To have definitely. You said having a fantastic day today. I'm surely having a fantastic day today, and so looking forward to everyone who's joining us today. So today in our episode 5, we have a juicy topic lined up for this brand new episode. Something that keeps every HR professional up at night, which is I'm sure you're waiting for the topic, right? Unlocking the heartbeat of employee satisfaction. But before we dive deeper, right, into the true meaning of employee satisfaction in an organization, with our I'm sure you all also want to know who is this incredible speaker who's with us. But Ajit will introduce a little bit about our show, especially for the new faces tuning in today. Right, Ajit, over to you.
Yes. Pleasure is all mine. You can hear Shireen today has swara sexy. She's not feeling so well. So guys, be nice to her, okay? Be nice to her. Okay. Okay. Buck up everybody. And for those who are new to our show, let me share a little bit about the show. We are known as hashtag HR Intervents, commonly referred to as hashtag HRTV. Everybody labeled me as HRTV now. Me and Shireen. Everywhere we go, people ask us, hey, HRTV people know us. Huh? And it's an online talk show presented by Compass Mind Asia, a renowned corporate training provider. In our previous episode, we have engaged in discussion with HR experts covering wide range of topics relating from HR right up to career development and also some leadership areas. In the past, we have dwelled with fantastic topics such as performance management, stress management, burnout among employees, and many more topics. In case you have missed out any of the past episodes, and you would like to find out more about these episodes, you can always go to Shireen's YouTube channel. It's called 𝗘𝗺𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 to watch all the episodes. I repeat, 𝗘𝗺𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, and we are now showing the ticket number, the link at the below, yeah.
Wow, you know what, Ajit? I'm seeing all the excited people coming in. There
Mm.
is 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. Hi.
Oh, after a long time we seeing him.
Yeah,
Hi.
man. And
Yeah.
Manoj seems to be excited to have a question to be given to us already. Yes, Manoj,
Oh,
bring it on as we start the show. We're looking forward. Hi, Ken Han Huang, James.
hi
Wow, hello,
Ken.
bye. How about hi, 𝗘𝗺𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃? Greetings from Penang. Woohoo! All right. And then we have Nurul Hainis. Hello, everyone. Well, hi, everyone.
Hello.
Lovely to have you all here today. So bring it on, more of you. Let us know who is there. Now, if you're wondering if you are actually in the right place at the right time, or you just stumbled upon our show, right? I can assure you that you're surely in the right place. This show is tailored for basically everyone, whether you're rocking the managing director's hat, or navigating the C suite, steering the ship as a business owner, or just embarking on a new journey or a job hunting, or even as a fresh graduate. But you know what? A special shout out to all our HR and L&D comrades. You are definitely in for a wonderful treat today. As always, we would love to know who's here with us today. Drop us a hello, like how many of you have done, and let us know who you are, where you're tuning in from, whether you're in the office, at home, or I actually notice people when it comes to online right nowadays. I am driving on the road and logging in. So, guys, if you're actually doing that, let us also know. But make sure
Yes.
you focus on the road, okay?
Keep safe, hands free, then you can dial in, no problem.
That's why. And also let us know if you're tuning in from Malaysia or somewhere else around the world, because we have got many people who have tuned in from across the world. So
Yes.
let us know.
And also do share, because it's lunchtime. What are you having for lunch, or what you had for lunch, or you are still having it? No problem. So Shireen, what did you had for lunch?
I had soup, chicken soup.
Oh my God, so healthy.
I need that energy, man, Koji. I need it. I saved all my energy only for HRTV today because I was so looking forward to see everyone here. So let's introduce ourselves, Ajit,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
everyone.
Yes, sure. Okay, in case if you guys don't know me, my name is Ajit. I am a HR practitioner, managing HR for 25 over years, and currently doing an APAC job.
Okay. I was just reading Manoj's message. Suddenly I went, And I'm 𝗘𝗺𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, the Managing Director at Compass Mind. Welcome to HR Interventions Season 4, Episode 5.
Okay. Hello, we are back.
We are
Hasni was asking where is the link to previous HRTV episode. Okay, if you have missed it, maybe we will run it again at the very end of the show. But you can always go and Google 𝗘𝗺𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 and you will find it, all the links there. 𝗘𝗺𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃, the spelling need to be correct. Okay.
That's right. If you need the spelling is in my undersign at the bottom of the screen. Anyway, we will also share the link later, Hasni. And Manoj, yes, we can always chat about your question. We'll take this offline later, yeah? Today, Ajit, we're focusing on a topic that's critical for any organization's success, which is employee satisfaction, right?
Yes, that's right. Employee satisfaction is one of the key factors to build productivity workforce. However, it's also one of the toughest tasks to be done at a workplace. Trust me, I've been doing it and it's not easy. So without wasting time, over to you, Shireen, to introduce our guest for today and to start the sessions, the serious discussions.
I am honored and excited, Ajit. Our amazing speaker today, Sugunah, is dedicated to talent development and fostering a positive work culture for sustainable organizational growth. With a background, I tell you, that is spanning across human resources, corporate com, and national talent initiatives, she has contributed her expertise to leading companies such as General Electric, all of you have heard that, Pfizer, another one that all of you have heard, and HSBC, holding various country, regional, and global positions. So you can imagine what you're going to be in for today. Definitely a treat, Sugunah received a master's in human resource management from the University of Western Sydney, Australia, and Bachelor of Science Honours Human Development from the University Putra Malaysia. So when I read this yesterday, I was like, hey, hi, are you my coursemate, or are we senior and junior? So I won't let you all know yet. If you all want to know, drop a message in the chat box later. We'll let you know who is senior and who is junior, but both
I
of
know,
us
I know, I know.
She furthered her studies in several prestigious universities, including the University of Cambridge, Bologna University, and the University of Macquarie, with certificate in sustainable leadership by the University of London. Her efforts in women initiatives and human resource practices in General Electric had led GE to receive the most prestigious country award for empowerment of women and other recognitions such as Best Overall Company and also Best Company in Workplace Practices. Isn't that amazing? Oh my God, I wish I could just follow just 5% of her footstep lah. Then, we get there. Looking at the amazing portfolio, I am absolutely thrilled to welcome our guest for today. So, guys, help me give big claps or virtual claps and hearts to Sugunah.
Hey, welcome Sugunah.
Hi, Shireen. Hi, Ajit. Thank you very much for having me in this conversation today. Looking forward.
Thank you, Sugunah, for joining us. And it's truly an honor to have you. I've known Sugunah for many amount of years. Trust me, today I'm so excited. It's like a wonderful learning opportunity for me to get to pick on her ideas and her brains. And it's just so magnificent. So how are you doing, Sugunah?
I'm doing well, thank you. And I must say it's also, I'm going to learn a lot from both of you as well, I'm sure, in this conversation today.
Okay, we are so eager to learn a little bit more about you after Serene introduced you so grandly. I never knew. So polished. Nice. My mentor. Good. We are eager to learn. Do share something about you, about yourself, maybe a hobby or some current project that you're working on, to let the audience get to know you a little better.
Sure, definitely. So some of the things that I'm really passionate about is something that Shireen mentioned earlier, right? In terms of shaping the talent employee landscape, whether in the country or outside the country. That's something that I'm really passionate about. Having served various organizations, that had gave me additional knowledge in how things are done in a more seamless and sustainable way. But at the same time, learning some of the things that I could have done better, right? So these are things that I'm passionate about sharing with others. What I'm doing today, actually, today is a very important day speaking with you, HRTV. Actually have a client in Dubai. Subsequent to this, I have to get into another call. We are consulting some clients in Dubai for markets in Middle East and a couple of other clients in Malaysia as well. So that's really keeping me excited and busy. And of course, sharing some of the knowledge and learning along that way as well. What do I do? My hobby, whenever I have this additional time, I really love working out. And I really love reading, trying to keep abreast with all the changes that's happening these days. So that's really what I do.
Now I know how you keep in shape all the time.
That's my meditation. It's my meditation to try to keep me at Zen, is going for workout. So everyone has different way of Zen, right? So mine is working out.
What workouts do you do?
A couple of things actually. I do a bit of yoga. I do a bit of conditional functioning, and I've just started trying to be more regular with my swimming as well.
Oh, nice.
Wow,
what's conditional functioning?
So I would say it's like almost like a HIIT exercise. It's definitely not CrossFit, but it's almost a little mirror of that. But that's good.
I'm sweating already just listening about it.
That's really good. That's my meditation, to be honest. So CF yoga and a little bit of a swimming. Yeah.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Good to know. Something I should be starting soon, but
come join me for the class. Try to give you a free session to try out.
Thank you. Maybe Shireen, we should maybe take it up,
I'm gonna push you into it, Ajit.
Okay, anyway, let's go back to our show. Today, our show, we are going to tackle a very, very important topic, and it's always a buzz in the headline, especially nowadays. It's about employee satisfaction. We are zooming down, going into specifically employee satisfaction. We all know there's no free lunches and team building exercises and all that, and these are all nice to have. Makan that Malaysians are so good at doing, and this keeps our workforce happy and competitive in job market. Now, is that enough? So the answer I would tell you out front is absolutely not. That's true. The employee satisfaction goes more deeper beyond just makan, a little bit of team building and whatnot. Okay, and here we are talking a little bit about the heart of the business, which is the culture of the organization. So how do we gel people together in order to manage our employee satisfaction? Okay, managers play a very vital role in making sure that they foster employee engagement, a sense of belonging, and ultimately contributing towards employee satisfaction. So, back up as we are going to delve in more deeper and look at what we could do in order to make our workplace a better place or better engage our employees. Okay, without further ado, let's begin, Shireen.
Yeah, I'm excited to begin. In fact, Hasni is so cute. She said, "Can't wait for this session." That's why she came in earlier. So Hasni, we're so happy to have you here, and a lot of others here. Come, let us know if you're tuning in from your office or at home or driving, so we know who is there. Yeah. So Sugunah, are you ready? Because I've got a first question for you.
Definitely. Keep it rolling.
All right. Yeah. See, Suguna said keep it rolling. So, guys, audiences, if you have any questions, just ask along the way and Suguna
Yes.
will try to answer them. Yeah. Okay. Suguna, how would you explain employee satisfaction and how is it different from employee engagement?
Okay, thanks for the question, Shireen. I really thought that was a very important question, right? Because sometimes people tend to use it a little bit interchangeably as well. Now, the way I would describe it is that employee satisfaction and employee engagement, while they're closely connected, right? Um, there are distinct concepts on employee satisfaction and engagement that's very crucial to any organization's health and productivity. Now, let me explain that a little bit more, right? If I break it up, employee satisfaction, this really refers to how content and happy employees are with their job and their environment. Okay, that's the first differentiating factor, and typically it encompasses factors such as compensation or benefits, work hours, physical work environment, things around that. And the notion is when an employee is satisfied, they tend to be more stable, they tend to be more comfortable in performing their job. Okay, so you can look at it at a way where this is the very basic fundamental that any organization offers, right, in meeting the basic expectation and needs of an employee. So that's how we kind of define satisfaction. Now, employee engagement, on the other hand, it really goes a step further, right? It's about the, how shall I put it? It's about the emotional connection or commitment the employee has to the overall organization, whether it's to the goal of the organization or the purpose of the organization. So it goes a little bit further, right? It's about the emotional connection. And typically employees who are engaged, right, they're very passionate, not just about the work that they do, right? Like satisfied employee, they really get their work done and whatever not. But the engaged employees, they're not just passionate about the work that they do, but they actually go beyond their regular work or their job descriptions or their job expectations. They actually go beyond that. And they try to look at what else can I do to make a difference and help the environment and help the organization to sustain and grow from a longer term perspective as well. So they go that extra steps, right? And typically what we see the driving factor in engagement slightly different, where the employees feel that they are being cared for. They feel that they are being seen and heard and understood, right? They feel that, hey, I can trust my manager. He's got my back covered if there's anything at all, right? And really that the trust, that the positive feeling and connection is deeper. So that's where the engagement really takes place, right? When you have such an environment. Um, and typically, right, what we see is that both are important, because sometimes people ask which is more important, satisfaction and engagement, right?
Yeah.
So both are important. Of course, I must say then the more engaged the work, because employee can be satisfied, right? Not necessarily engaged as well, right? So that's a clear distinct there, a difference there. And what we see is that the more engaged an individual is, then the impact they make, the contribution they make has more longer lasting impact for the organization. And one simple way to put it is, I always use this term, right? Satisfaction is having a job that you like. Engagement is loving the job that you do. I tend to put it that way, in a simple way. So I'll just stop there and take on additional questions.
Interesting.
Oh, I like that.
Having and loving, two different things. Huh? When you are satisfied, you love it. When you have it. When you are engaged, you love it. Okay, that makes sense. Interesting. Okay. Thank you, Sugunah. That's a wonderful answer. I think very detailed. We have a question from the audience. Manoj, he's having his breakfast. He's from UK. Fantastic. Hope the weather there is good, Manoj. Okay, his question is employee satisfaction different from country to country and culture to culture?
That's a fantastic question, Manoj. I really like that question because I personally have spent a lot of time trying to understand, is there a key difference? In many of the work that I've done, there's a lot of similarity, right, in terms of the expectation that employees have. And typically these days, you see a lot of expectations around things around, and this is common. I see, regardless which market, I've seen this is very common. I'll share some of the examples, but I've seen slight difference in Malaysia, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as well. And that's based on my own observation and really going down to the field and having a lot of conversation with the workforce in Malaysia. And you'll be a little bit surprised with that slight difference that comes in. Okay, so one of the common things that I really see from an employee satisfaction perspective or engagement perspective as well is that top four, I must say, number one, sorry, this is not in ranking because different organizations tend to have them in different ranks, and individuals may have different ranking as well, right? But what's interesting is my observation that I've had seem to be quite similar to some of the surveys and researches that's being published. Top four that I've seen, again, not in ranking order, Manoj, is work-life balance and well-being tend to be something that, regardless which market, people are expecting that companies are having that support and programs for them to have a better work-life balance, whether it's flexible work arrangement or remote working or any other care and support that they can give as well, right? And this is particularly in some industries, you see that simplifying work processes and procedures to take away a lot of long working hours absolutely helps in reducing stress and burnout in workforce. So that's something that's really evident across many markets. The other one I see is definitely compensation and benefit, right? So that's very, very clear, especially with raising cost of living. Not only that, expectations in organizations keep going up. So with that, right, definitely one of the key fundamental is having competitive and fair compensation. And not only that, it's also with a comprehensive benefit plan in place does matter to employees, right? That's really fundamental. And employees, they want to feel that they're being adequately and fairly compensated for the hard work that they do. And that's something that we commonly see in every market as well. The other common thing that I see, regardless which country, is the opportunity for career growth and development. We see that pretty evident. People want to feel that, the organization is investing in their professional development. Access to training is very important. And also they get to see that they're having a career growth. And not only that the company is creating a pathway for them as well, right? together, creating that pathway together based on their interests and desire where they want to grow also, right? Paying that attention is very, very important. The other similarity I see is, I must say, management and leadership. That's very important for many individuals as part of their satisfaction. They want managers that they feel that the managers have got their back, right? Managers that they can trust and respect. Managers that guide and help them through navigating through the rapid changes that you are facing. So those are the top four that I see regardless of market. And a lot of surveys do tell that too, right? Where Manoj, I've seen a distinct different, and Cherine and 𝗘𝗺𝗽𝗓, I don't know if you see the same. Okay, let me give a context to this first, right? Because it's going to be a little bit of a surprise. I think in every conversation that I have with the Malaysian workforce, when I try to establish what is the model for engagement and satisfaction for you, right? Everything that I spoke about and many others comes up, right? The clear one that came out that I've seen in Malaysia, perhaps may appear in other markets, is food. Access to food is very important from what I've seen in any conversation that I have in all the organizations that I work with and all the organizations that I support in Malaysia. They say, we want affordable food around us. And that for me was, wow, mind-blowing findings, right? Yeah. And I'm not surprised 𝗘𝗺𝗽𝗓 started the conversation by asking Cherine, what did you eat, right? So it's very culture. Manoj, it's very culture. So therefore, right, a lot of HR practitioners in Malaysia, when we have to move to a new building, it's not just about having the meeting rooms and all. So among the few questions we ask is there restaurants nearby, affordable restaurants nearby, multiple options to consider, because we all eat very diverse food and all that, right? And on top of access to car park or parking, how far do I travel? But food is a distinct feature. So I don't know, Manoj, if that came as a surprise, but it's evident in Malaysia.
Definitely.
I would totally agree.
Even engagement sessions to keep people engaged. Some of the things that they do in Malaysia is have eating sessions together, or they have potlucks together. Correct. Or even sometimes they have meetings. You have food being served. So yeah, it's all about the food here in Malaysia. You're right.
Absolutely spot on, Cherine. And it's interesting that in some of the things that I do, right, I really like what you say, because the administrator will always say, okay, we are going to do this event, can we have some food, right? And I'll say, oh, it's this hour, why do we need food, right? And Sugunah, do you want to turn up? So it's very culture, right? That's so much so when I look at the models, whether it's 𝗘𝗺𝗽𝗓 model, I love 𝗘𝗺𝗽𝗓 model. I think I relate a lot to that. Now, if I replicate that for Malaysia, I would add food to that model as well, right? Because so my model, when I draw employee satisfaction and engagement, I have access to food. Thank you for the question, Manoj.
I would agree. I would totally agree. Every HR practitioner, food is always agenda number one. Either it's cheap food at the cafeteria or there's good food around our building. If it's not, trust me, your satisfaction score will definitely drop.
And we call it 𝗘𝗺𝗽𝗓, right, in Malaysia.
Fantastic.
I know it's a new word for you, 𝗘𝗺𝗽𝗓.
Well said. Okay, we move to the next question. What are the key factors that contribute to employee satisfaction in workplace?
Besides food.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cherine, you're saying something?
I said besides food.
Besides food. So the top ones, as I mentioned earlier, right? The top ones that I've seen certainly is around the I mentioned just now in my conversation, it's a lot about the work-life balance and well-being. It's a lot of compensation and benefit. And then, of course, in terms of your career development, correct, and the manager relationship, your manager leadership. These are among the top pockets. But if I could add, Ajit, to your question, what else, right? What else I've seen is definitely job security is one of it, right? Particularly now with the rapid changes that organizations are going through, that new roles are coming in. Unfortunately, some of the jobs are going away as well, right? So job security tend to be other factors that definitely need to take into consideration. And I'm a big advocate that organization need to do everything they can to support the employee through that changes as well. That's very important, right? Like particularly when changes are happening in organization, are we, investing to develop the employees in order to take the new role that's coming? That's very important, right? So redeployment, development, upskilling, reskilling, all that matters, particularly when job changes are taking place. Organizational structures are going through, organizations are going through changes, stuffs like that are very critical. So job security is one, recognition, appreciation, that those are things that really matters as well.
Okay, fantastic. Well said, agreed. That's a spin-off. Okay, the next one we have also from Manoj. Fantastic. Manoj, please bring it on. We like more questions. Manoj's question here is, how do you engage and satisfy people working from home, especially in Malaysia?
That's a great question in terms of how do we keep the people working from home more engaged, right? So there are multiple ways we can do it. And of course, number one is to acknowledge the fact that a lot of employees are definitely voicing out that post-pandemic, they are already comfortable working from home. The flexibility that organizations have given them is able to give them a little bit more balance as well for their personal lives and contributing to work. Then there's also citation that employees do in terms of they feel more productive, right? And they want to continue that hybrid work model or whatever that we call, right? So first to acknowledge that, and also you see a lot of the millennials are paying attention to that, right? The new emerging workforce, they also like to have that flexibility too. So that is definitely to be taken into consideration for industries that can do so, because there are some industries they are not able to do it, right?
Yeah, correct.
For those that have certain operations where they need to operate on a certain hour basis, they are not able to do that, right? So that also we need to take into consideration as well, that not every industries are able to do that. So that's just setting the stage. Now, how do we keep them engaged is, there are a couple of things, right? I think what matters is having the priority and expectations sorted upfront. That matters, right? It's more of like, these are the couple of priorities you need to do. Just get it done. I have the trust that you will make it happen, instead of having managers that's constantly trying to check on you. Where are you? Are you at home? Is your laptop on? And whatever not. So to drive that, a culture of trust is very important. Yeah. So that's how you keep them engaged. The other thing is, I've noticed that's working very well is the role of infrastructure of organizations have changed. So typically, of course, in the past, you come into office to send emails and whatever not. And typically now you're able to do it from wherever you are. Yeah. So what we see really is, Manoj, and I'm sure you experience this, is that organizations are changing the way they operate, where office is not just a place you come and send email. They say, look, that you can do at home, but change in how we create an environment where people come together, whether it's for brainstorming or, whether it's for celebrations, whether to conduct some innovative discussions with customers. So the purpose of office is also changing, where it's trying to build a lot more engagement. So there are companies that, they put aside some days or some hours, like, okay, we're just going to sit and have open conversation in how we can work a bit more effectively, right? So those are some of the changes that I believe helps in employee that are practicing the hybrid work model. And of course, not forgetting the role of manager, right? That too has changed.
Yeah.
For
Agreed.
some managers who are very used to having all the team around you, so now you need to get used to a little bit about, okay, there are some days you have
You'll
certain
be
teams.
out. Yeah.
Exactly. So that are some of the ways. Hopefully that gives a little bit more tips, and I'm sure there's more ways to engage as well.
That's amazing, Sugunah. Yeah, it's also a way for managers to get used to, because you've been seeing your people there all the time and just come or whatever. Now you got to message them or send a Teams
Right.
message, and then you get things done. So yeah, it's all about achieving the KPIs now, and not really breathing down the employees' back, because that's not going to create any satisfaction.
And you brought a very good point, Shireen. It's about the connectivity, the collaborative tools, and there's so many collaborative tools, right, today that you can leverage on in making sure that there's constant engagement. So that really helps. Yeah.
You want to share on some of the collaborative tools that you use frequently?
I mean, yes, certainly. I mean, Teams, we use, all that connectivity tools like Teams, Google Meet, Zoom is very popular.
Yeah.
We do that. Of course, WhatsApp, things like that. So there's multiple ways to reach out, right? So like today, it's great. We are all in different locations, but we are having all this great conversation with people, not just in Malaysia, right? Outside Malaysia as well.
As well. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I feel the pandemic did. It actually expanded our mindset to grow even faster. Because for me, I felt that this should have been done 5 years ago, but it was never coming about until the whole pandemic hit, and it was like a tsunami of growth for a lot of people. Yeah, so
Okay,
cool.
good.
Yeah,
And the pandemic pushed it to happen faster.
correct. Yeah. So
and interestingly, now we have learned from it and we have moved forward, right? So we
Yes,
don't really talk about the pandemic anymore, but there's a lot of things that we have learned that has shaped the way we work today,
Agreed.
right? Which is very interesting. With all the rapid changes, being agile and nimble in terms of making that progressive changes are equally very important, not just for the workforce, but for the organization itself.
yeah, that's true. So true. Manush has got another question, but I'm going to ask you a question before we go to his.
Yes.
How can organizations effectively measure the employee satisfaction?
Great question. So what I basically see is it's a combination of two methods, Shireen. One is, of course, the qualitative method, and the other one is more qualitative, right? So for the quantitative one, there's many ways organizations do it. Those who are very much technology heavy, they tend to have HR metrics and analytics that looks at whether it's turnover rate, absenteeism, things like that. So a lot of those data tells a lot of stories. It really speaks out loud in terms of what's going on in the organization, right? From a satisfaction perspective. And then, of course, there are surveys that organizations do, whether it's annually, biannually, and they cover, depends what they really want to find out, right? Whether it's about job satisfaction, engagement, or what do you think of your manager? What do you think of the culture? So those are surveys, annual surveys or biannual surveys that's done. There are also a lot of pulse surveys that organizations do these days. So pulse is just like a pulse, like the moment, right? So there could be certain issues or areas that they want to find out. It's very fast. It's very targeted question, and they tend to do it on a more regular basis. Little questions to find out what's really happening on the ground. So that's the pulse surveys. There's net promoter scores, whether the employee will recommend the company as the best place to work. So those are all very quantitative, right? And then you have your qualitative, which I really love. I love qualitative. Combine that with quantitative, wow, you get a wonderful story what's happening out there. The qualitative one is more observational. So like when I go for a meeting, I like to observe. You know, you can feel, right? You can feel what's the energy. Do you see sense of collaboration? What are the gestures? You go for town hall. I love town halls, right? What are the questions that the employee tend to ask? What are the emotions behind the questions and all that, right? So those are some observational that I think as practitioners we need to pay attention to. And you combine both the quantitative and qualitative, you get a wonderful story. And what are the actions then you need to take to navigate and support the employees through that data points. Now, what's crucial for me is, for example, if you do surveys, right, what's crucial is not just doing a survey. What's crucial is when you do a survey, firstly, establish the purpose. Why do you want to do it, right? Have a clear communication on the purpose and the processes. That's very important. And then, of course, confidentiality is very important because, look, employees are sharing their views, right? And sometimes they're concerned, how would this feedback be taken? It's very natural. And we have as organization, we need to make that commitment on confidentiality of data. That matters. And of course, then whatever findings there are is having a commitment to take actions on the findings. Then people will trust that, look, if I voice out, my manager, my company will take action on it. And sometimes it's fine, right? Sometimes it's fine if you don't really have a response to how do I take actions? What do I do, right? Sometimes the vulnerability is important, right? To develop that trust and respect for the managers and organization, because employees typically say this, right? What they tell me, Sugunah, you know what? It's okay, if if the company doesn't have a action plan yet, just tell us that you don't have an action plan.
Correct.
We are willing to accept, right? And maybe we can offer an idea or two to help you because you don't have a response, Sugunah. It's an example, right? So those are some of the things that matters in a survey. That's why for me, when people want to do survey, always the question is, what's the purpose? Are you committed to take an action? It does matter. And do a regular. So I'll just stop there. Sorry, I'm a little bit passionate about all these topics, right? So I'll just stop there and take questions.
No, we like the passion. I think you're doing the right thing. Fantastic.
Very
Sugunah.
Deep down. Good job.
Amazing.
You can see me taking notes.
See my paper?
That's a lot of notes.
You're sharing a lot of golden nuggets.
Yeah,
I just get thrilled, Ajit and Shireen, somehow, right? Because these are things that, in Malaysia, we call it turun padang, right? Manoj,
Yes.
turun padang is like going to the field, and love doing that, just going and really understanding the heartbeat and sentiments of what people are thinking. And sometimes they don't tell until you really go and spend time with them. So just passionate about it.
Agree.
And hoping to make a change.
Yes, and I totally concur with what Sugunah said. You do a questionnaire, have a purpose, ultimately be willing to make an effort to make the changes. If you don't have the change now, you let people know, but the communication is important and the effort. Most of the time, people do surveys, get the results, and do nothing out of it. That frustrates employees. Fantastic.
I love the way you summarize it, Ajit. I probably took 10 minutes. You did it in 2 minutes. Wonderful.
Thank you. Okay, let's look at Manoj. He's got a good question here. Us being a startup and planning to establish ourselves in Malaysia, what are the things we should keep in mind as priority for employees in Malaysia?
Okay, great. So first of all, let me make a disclaimer, Manoj. There are definitely better minds in Malaysia that can help you in setting up a business in Malaysia. And I'm more than happy to connect you with whether the ecosystem in Malaysia or even friends that can do it, right? Let me just make a disclaimer that happy to do so. So let's connect after this call. But to keep what are the priorities for employees in Malaysia, I think going back to talking about what matters for employees is going back to some of the things that I mentioned about, right? Which is in terms of the platforms, in terms of making sure that, the compensation is competitive. I think those are things that matters. Compensation, the benefit, the work-life balance, mental well-being, investment in their career development, making sure you have the right tone from the top matters a lot. And why do I say tone from the top is having a clear direction of purpose and what the company wants to achieve is very important, right? So that you're able to attract the right talent to come and join you. So that's extremely very important. I mean, start with what's the purpose of the organization, and what really can an employee, what are the values or their personal goal and purpose, how does that align to your organization purpose as well? I think that's the number one fundamental thing, right, for you to attract the right talent. And of course, then everything else falls in place, like I mentioned, compensation, the development plan, the appropriate balance of work-life balance, things like that comes in as well. I wanted to share, Manoj, something that I learned when I talked to one of my group CEOs in the past. And one of the questions I asked was, can you tell me, how do we keep our employee really satisfied? What have you seen, right? And his answer was really amazing. He said, you know what, Sugunah, if the company does the right thing, has the right purpose, and continue growing and making an impact to the community around it, right? That means you continue showing that you're growing and making the right impact. The rest of the satisfaction can be figured out somehow, right? So continue growing your business. And he said that one of the key area where employees tend to feel down, and it's very evident, is when the company is not doing well. Because they know then their compensation is affected, the development will be affected, right? Investment will be affected. So he said, make sure that you take care of that, right? And of course, along that, all the compensation, the development, and all that needs to be thought through as well. Okay. So Manoj, happy to connect with you separately. I'm sure Shireen, Ajit, you in case you have additional advice, please, I'll take a short break for you to speak with Manoj.
Fantastic. Yeah. I think Sugunah said the right thing. Yeah? The organization purpose and then the way the company is growing, that determines a lot about how the employees would feel. And if that's in place, then you get others all falling in place, because that's going to drive a lot of other initiatives. Okay, we have a question for the audience. What motivates employee to perform their best? Is it personal goals or company culture? Only to answer: personal goals or company culture. What motivates you to perform better? So please do share your thoughts here, your idea, your answers, and we will then discuss about that. Let's move on to another question that is coming from Manoj. We are welcome. We are welcome to collaborate with Malaysian companies, as our requirements is about 200 employees within these two countries in the next 3 months. Whoa, Manoj. Okay. That's not a question. That's a statement. We will take
congratulations. That's a good goal that you have there.
Yes. Audition goal, but we encourage more investment into Malaysia. Please come. Okay. Moving on. How does employee satisfaction impact overall organization performance?
Oh, fantastic question, Ajit. Tremendously significant impact, right? And there's a lot of extensive research on this as well. If I can just name a few, definitely the satisfaction and engagement impacts from a productivity perspective, increase in productivity. And there's a great survey or research by University of Warwick that shows that, employees that are satisfied and engaged, they are able to increase productivity by 20% as compared to the disengaged counterparts. That's one I can immediately share from a productivity perspective. From a customer satisfaction and financial perspective, there's study by Gallup. I think that was a very interesting study by Gallup that shows that engaged employees, they are able to outperform their peers by 147% in terms of earnings per share. And not only that, increase in customer loyalty as well.
147. Wow.
147% in terms of EPS, earning per share. That's financial. And then, of course, there's many other things, right? I mean, in a very simplistic form, you can say that turnover can be reduced when they're satisfied, they're engaged, they want to stay in the company, they want to grow with the company. So it actually brings down the turnover rate. And turnover rate, when it goes down, attrition goes down, you actually save money, right? Because can you just imagine when a person leaves, you know, the amount of knowledge they take with them, and, you know, the amount of time that the organization need to spend now to train new people, it's also money, and there's cost in hiring as well, right? So all this sometimes it's cost that we sometimes forget, but it is costly. And many other things that comes with it as well. That there's a great survey by, or study by Journal of, I think it's Journal of Occupational and Organizational Psychology, where they found that employees who are satisfied and engaged, right, they are willing to take a little bit more risk at their work, and they're willing to try new things. And what they find out is that then it creates a culture of innovation and creativity as well. And that kind of fosters growth for organizations. So there's a lot of data points, and that's why it's very, very important for organizations, right, for leadership to really have employees as the core in their business parameters, right? It's absolutely important, because you have satisfied employee, you get satisfied customer. Often, if you look at organization, they start with customer. Yes, absolutely start with customer. That's the offering. You have a commitment to customer. But what drives the satisfaction on the customer on top of your products and whatever not, right? Is the employee, because they are the one who's creating the products. They are the one who's having the engagement with the customers. So that attention is very important.
It really feels like an ecosystem. Happy employees, happy customers, employees. It's like one circle like that.
Absolutely. And there's surveys that shows, a lot of surveys that shows, when you have happy, satisfied, engaged employees, has a direct, in fact, the survey shows that is direct impact to the customer, right? So, yeah.
Wow, I'm actually so amazed that we are at 1:54. We've got about 6 more minutes. Let me see if we ask one more question or 2 more questions. Yeah. So Sugunah, I've got a question for you. Can you suggest some creative or innovative ways companies can reward and recognize employees to enhance their satisfaction? I mean, a lot of them already have things in place, but what other innovative ways are there?
Out
of the planet.
There's lots of innovative way. I'll share my favorite ones. One is I think the peer-to-peer platforms works very well, where any peer, your colleagues can also recognize you, appreciate you for some of the things that you've done, because I feel that really builds team dynamics. So that's been great. There's a lot of online platform now. You give badges, you recognize them openly. People can read on the leaderboard what some of the things that you're doing. That really creates a lot of personal fulfillment and pride. Not just within the organization, but everyone else, your friends in other countries can see that as well. So your pride really, there's a quantum leap there in terms of satisfaction. What I've seen quite effective is on the spot cash bonuses. So rather than waiting for bonus for year end, right? So there are companies that have on the spot cash. So which means that if you do something great, you get recognized, and based on the impact that you bring to the organization or the customer, the amount varies as well. That I've seen quite powerful. And some companies, how do they do that is they actually collect points. They give you points, and then you use all the points and you can exchange for some very personalized gift, whether it's a trip to somewhere or vacation or whatever not. So very, very personalized gift that has been quite effective as well. So those are some of the examples.
That's a good one for a lot of us to practice if some of us actually don't have it now. So yeah, actually Manoj has got, I'll ask one last question by Manoj here. What would you consider a good annual salary for a starter employee within Malaysia for a sales role?
So Manoj, if I may, I really think we should connect after this. I can give you a little bit
Yeah.
more data because
Yeah, a
it
bit more insight.
differs in terms of your years of experience as well, right? So
Industry.
entry level is different from mid and senior, right? And it also differs from industry. So I'm more than happy to give you the information. Please connect Compass Mind Asia right after this.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe
Very
we do a
useful.
last final question, Shireen.
Yep.
Suguna, how can companies address common pain points related to employee satisfaction?
How can they address it? I think there's in the interest of time, I'll share 2 or 3 things that matters.
Yeah.
Number one is having that perspective that if you especially have a diverse workforce, right, their needs and expectations can be very different, and to be very open in that situation, right, knowing that individuals may have different situation and nuances that they go through. So being very open in terms of acceptance that, as I mentioned, diverse workforce, having a very regular mechanism is very important in terms of getting feedback, having channel that people can give feedback, creating a safe, psychologically safe environment for people to speak up and share their views, and knowing that there's no retaliation, that actions will be taken, right? And even if there's no actions taken, be very transparent in the communication. That why they are not able to do it at that given point in time. I think that matters. And also to recognize employees that are willing to come and share their views. I think it's very important because that reinforces that you are on the right track. Right? And then every other person can role model it as well, right? So, and there are many other things, right? Tone from the top, to me, is like the number one thing that matters a lot now. Leadership, role modeling the behaviors first before even expecting that from other individual matters, right? And role of managers, I do have this simple rule of 5 golden rule of managers. I'll quickly share that in the interest of time. Number one, setting expectation is very important in terms of what they expect the employees to do, what are the values expected out of them. Golden rule number 2 is helping people to get there, developing them, training them to do the current job effectively, and not only that, helping them to advance their future career and how they grow in the organization matters. Golden rule number 3 for me is very important, is that the managers themselves taking accountability and role modeling the behaviors before holding others accountable. That matters, right? Often when things go wrong, are we as managers reflecting what we could have done better first, or are we pointing the fingers to others? Those things. Role modeling is very, very important. Taking the accountability is very important before we point fingers to others. Rule number 4, golden rule thumb number 4 for me is in terms of celebrating success, rewarding people matters, reinforcing the behaviors that continue doing this. You're doing a great job, continue doing this. Last but not least is continue evolving. I mean, we are definitely living in a world, a binary world, right? They call it now, which is brittle, anxious, sometimes non-linear and incomprehensible. We are living in a world where mental well-being is absolutely a critical matter for employees that we need to take into consideration. Digital, AI, making a lot of rapid changes. So as managers, we need to make sure that we are constantly equipping ourselves so that we are forging ahead and helping our employees, right? So like I mentioned, there are 3 things that matters, right? Now, on top of it, managers need to constantly look at growing themselves as well to help the employees. So I'll just stop there. It's 2 o'clock on dot.
Thank you so much. You can't really feel like that. The time is like, flying so fast. And when we have someone like Sugunah, my God, I wish the 1 hour could extend longer, We have anyway,
But really, so much for having me, Shireen. I really enjoyed the session and opportunity to share some of the learnings.
Yep, good. Thank you for joining us for this serious discussion with us today. Before we end, is there any way if the audience would want to reach out to you, or should there be any further questions? Is there any way that they could reach out to you? Any social media link?
Sure. LinkedIn, Sugunah Verumandy. That's the profile name, and more than happy to continue connecting and having great
Okay.
conversation.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. This was an amazing session. It doesn't feel like the 1 hour just ran out. No? Thank you very much again, Sugunah. It was a great pleasure to have you here with us today.
Yeah, thank you, Sugunah. And if you are a HR or L&D manager and you're planning trainings or have any training inquiries, do drop me an email at training@compassmind.com, and we'll be happy to assist. Before we end the session today, we have some big news update. We'll be taking a very short break next month, but we'll definitely be seeing you all on in July again. So stay tuned to all our social media and get ready for a huge return in July. All right. So stay tuned till we meet again. Thanks for watching HR Intervention. Remember,
Thank you, everyone.
Terima
discussions.
kasih.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.